nominate Honorable Tajuddin Abbas.
I so second.
I rise to humbly accept the nomination.
Is hereby declared the winner and returned elected as the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
It's good to be with you again on another fresh package of House Tickets, your window into the activities of lawmakers in the House of Representatives, Federal Republic of Nigeria. My name is Dihelia Mamza. In the package this week, we highlight lawmakers' continuous efforts in reforming the power sector, education, economy, insecurity, as well as the health sector through bills and motions. These are the salient points of our second review of the activities of the 10th House of Representatives. We shall be reviewing the second quarter of 2024, that is the period before the recess. On current happenings, the House Committee on Environment held a stakeholder meeting to address pertinent issues around climate change, especially as it relates to worsening farmers-herders clashes. We have a report of that meeting in our lineup. The program starts off right after the short break. Please stay tuned.
The House will pay priority attention to participatory budgeting process and delivery, law reform, electoral reform, women's participation and inclusion in governance, among others.
Welcome back. Speaker of the House, Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, has said that climate change contributes largely to worsening farmer-herder clashes in the country. Speaker Abbas stated this at a stakeholders forum on addressing the impact of climate change on farmer-herder clashes in Nigeria, organized by the House Committee on Environment. This was on Wednesday, 28 August 2024. The Speaker was represented by Representative Dixon Taki.
Climate change has worsened the farmer-herder challenges. Farmers and herders alike now compete for less resources from which they draw crops and fodder. Distortions in rainfall patterns being the result of climate change have led to desertification. In search of greener pastures, herders have continued to migrate to farming communities. Given the trend, without regulation, there is bound to be clashes and crises indeed. We are already there. We will recall there have been a plethora of efforts by the federal and state governments, but with little success.
The Speaker also added that, as part of efforts to address the challenge, there is need to get rid of outdated herding and farming methods and adopt global trends in farming amidst climate change, stressing that the Land Use Act puts limitations on how much the federal government and the National Assembly can go to make the changes required to address the situation.
We must engage in smart agriculture across board. Numbers from countries compared us to rid ourselves of cultural practices that must now evolve. Without doubt, the status quo is outdated and a way forward is urgently needed. We must commit to stakeholder interaction, including sharing on this subject of educational material such as those by today's event, in order to further make persuasive the case for transition that must happen in agricultural practices.
The event also premiered a documentary, Behind the Valley, which is a story of climate change and farmer-herder conflicts in Benue State. The Deputy Chairman, House Committee on Environment, Representative Tessie Ugbo, in his remarks, called for collaborative efforts to address the challenge.
In proffering solutions to the climate crisis, we have designed this initiative to address the problem of affordable green housing for displaced persons, restoration of degraded farm and grazing lands, training and capacity building, resource and water management, renewable energy integration, and peace building through dialogue and mediation.
He then urged all stakeholders to collaborate, partner, support and donate to climate mitigation and adaptation initiative for the present and future stability of Nigeria and the peaceful coexistence of citizens. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, was represented by his Senior Special Assistant, Technical, Professor Bolaji Babatunde. In his keynote address, the SGF said the world has awakened to the rude reality of the grave impacts of climate change on humanity, adding that the physical changes that have occurred in the composition of the global atmosphere is now obvious and accepted by all due to climate change, orchestrated by human activities in the last 100 years.
A human being has shot himself in the foot and we will die. Because the changes, the drastic things you'll be hearing, flooding, is not about to stop. And it will not stop. Not to talk of the fact that human being himself does not want to stop. We still pollute. We still careless. We still discuss the issues of climate change and cozy environment and think that's it. The problem is much more than you are seeing. And it's not about to change. So it is important that when we have this type of gatherings, we are able to take advantage of the information there. When you go back to your own sphere, you begin to cultivate changes that will eventually help humanity. Otherwise, we are going down.
Invited stakeholders made their presentations at the event, harping on causes, impact and mitigation of the climate change challenge.
Engagement with one another, and of course, looking for other solutions to ensure that we're able to mitigate the effect of climate change in our environment by reducing our emissions, and also taking steps to ensure that our people are able to adapt to the adverse effects of climate change. As individuals, we also have responsibilities. We have responsibilities to reduce our carbon footprints. We have responsibilities to ensure that we save energy. We have responsibility to ensure that we save our natural resources. We do not waste resources, because all these, one way or the other, contribute to the climate change that we are witnessing and the driving of the farmer-herders clash that we are addressing today.
For us in the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation, we shall pursue vigorously our mandate, which is to formulate and implement policies, projects and programs that will enable sustainable access to safe and sustainable and sufficient water to meet the social, cultural and economic development of all Nigerians and for all uses in ways that contribute to enhancing public health, food security, eradicating poverty, while maintaining the integrity of freshwater ecosystems of the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, in keeping with this mandate, the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation has embarked on different development, water and agricultural projects, which are in line with the President Ahmed Tinubu's 8-point agenda.
Strides in spite of a chaotic relationship. In the last, it's not forgivable.
You are watching the legislative program House Tickets, your weekly companion, keeping you up to date on the activities and events of your lawmakers at the Green Chamber of the National Assembly. The program continues with a review of plenary activities of lawmakers during the second quarter of the year 2024, spanning April to June 2024. The summary, as compiled, is presented from the studios.
When the House reconvened after about 6 weeks of recess on Tuesday, 30th of April 2024, it considered and adopted several motions, one of which was the need to look into increase in electricity tariff. Lawmaker Kama Nkem Kama presented the motion for consideration. The motion, which came under matters of urgent public importance, called on the House to constitute a special committee to work with the House Committee on Power and liaise with the Ministry of Power and other relevant stakeholders in the power sector to find a practical solution.
The alarming tariff increase announced by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NEC, on April 1, 2023, resulting in a staggering 300% rise for certain consumers. However, what's more concerning are the reports indicating discrepancies in customer categorization and widespread complaints regarding the inadequate service despite increased charges. This situation has not just sparked national anxiety, but also threatens regulatory certainty and investor confidence in the sector, demanding immediate attention.
The motion was adopted and referred to a special committee. The House on Thursday, 16th May 2024, mandated the Committee on Power to investigate the lingering boardroom crisis in Eco Distribution Company that is snowballing into poor performance to resolve the crisis, protect federal government's stake in the company, and ensure optimal electricity distribution to the business axis of Lagos-Ogun states. The resolution adopted by the House was on the motion sponsored by Representative Sani Bala on the need to resolve the boardroom crisis in Eco Distribution Company to enhance service delivery and optimize revenue generation for the federal government.
The House is also to note that with the control of over 40% equity shares in the company by the federal government, the deafening board crisis, which is not only snowballing into increasing poor performance by the DISCO, but is also injurious to government business, requires an urgent need for government to intervene in order to protect the stakeholders and improve performance.
The motion further pointed out that in reaction to the allegations, a thorough investigation was instituted by the managing director, but was interrupted and stalled by further allegations by some directors of plants by certain vested interests to cover up the misdeeds. The motion was adopted without a debate on it.
Say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Still at plenary, the House on Wednesday, 8th May 2024, under matters of urgent public importance, considered a motion titled "The Urgent Need to Investigate the Security Breach that Led to the Escape of the Binance Bitcoin Executive from the Custody of the National Security Advisor." The motion was brought to the floor of the House by Representative Dominic Okafo.
The two Binance executives were billed to appear in court on April 4, 2024 to answer to the alleged crimes against Nigeria before the security breach occurred, which led to the escape of one of the company's executives in a very scandalous dimension. Honorable colleagues, concerned that persons suspected to have committed such atrocious crimes against the state of Nigeria with already overburdened security challenges were kept in a guest house in Abuja instead of lawful custody of the Department of State Service or any other approved custodial facility. Further worried that the escape of the Binance executive from the office of the National Security Advisor using a smuggled passport is, to say the least, most disappointing, embarrassing, and disturbing as it portrays the porosity of the security architecture of the country to the world.
The motion was voted on, adopted with the following resolutions: call on the National Security Advisor to explain how such a high-profile suspect could escape from his office. He also advocated for the Office of the National Security Advisor to be relinquished of the duty of the investigation into the matter and urged the House to mandate the Department of State Security (DSS) prosecute anyone found culpable. He also called on the relevant committees of the House to ensure compliance. The motion was then referred to the House Committees on Financial Crimes, National Security, as well as that on Police Affairs.
Those against should say nay. The ayes have it.
During plenary for Thursday, 6 June 2024, a motion on the review of the Nigerian curriculum for primary and secondary schools in line with current global market needs and contemporary realities was considered. Lawmaker Bamidele Salam presented the motion.
Nigeria's traditional curriculum for primary and secondary schools faces challenges compared to advanced nations. While it equips students with knowledge, it prioritizes rote learning over practical skills like critical thinking and problem solving, which are very crucial in current labor market. The curriculum might have a stronger focus on national subjects, potentially limiting exposure to global perspectives necessary to navigate the intercontinental world.
Without a debate on the matter, the House adopted the motion along with its prayers to urge the Federal Ministry of Education, in conjunction with State Ministry of Education, to conduct a comprehensive review of the curriculum across primary, secondary, and tertiary institutions, align the curriculum with evolving global market demands, emphasizing skills like critical thinking, problem solving, digital literacy, and adaptability, integrate practical applications, promote critical thinking and innovation, and enhance digital literacy, nurture essential soft skills like communications, teamwork, and interpersonal skills, address resource disparities, and ensure equitable access to qualified teachers, updated learning materials, and proper infrastructure, incorporate a global perspective, broadening the curriculum to encompass international issues and fostering global citizenship, and mandate the committees on basic education and services and university education to ensure compliance. On insecurity, especially on armed banditry, around the various constituencies in the country, the House continued to receive lawmakers' complaints through motions presented in the chamber. Representative Sada Soli Jibia moved a motion under matters of urgent public importance on the urgent need to employ more skilled mechanism to address banditry in the states of northwest Nigeria.
Incessant banditry attacks on communities in northwest and other parts of the country will significantly impact food production and agricultural activities, jeopardizing food security and livelihoods of the people in affected states of the region in the coming rainy season. Worried that concerns have been raised regarding the effectiveness and long-term implications of negotiating with bandits, including potential legitimization of criminal activities and incentivizing further attacks of terrorism.
The House, upon adoption of the motion, called for security forces to ensure the safety of these residents and those in other parts of the country, as insecurity is one of the chief causes of food insecurity, causing the rise in food costs. Also called on President Bola Tinubu to ensure the restructuring of the mechanisms of the security agencies to ensure better synergy and cooperation for better results to the pressing issue. The motion was referred to the relevant committees of the House.
This motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Another motion on Tuesday, 15th May 2024, saw the House debating the urgent need to correct the wrong perception of some sections of the public on the House of Representatives' position on the implementation of the Cybersecurity Act as amended. It was sponsored by the Minority Leader, Kingsley Chinda.
What we have said is that no Nigerian is supposed to be taxed under the Cybercrime Act. There are specific organizations that benefit from the cyberspace, and those are the organizations only that ought to pay that levy. There is need for us as a House of the People to continue to correct this impression in public space.
The motion enjoyed the support of lawmakers.
These laws were made by us, and these laws followed the whole 9 years of lawmaking, which includes public hearing. The public agreed that cyber war is going to be more strong than the war fought with arms and weapons. And the earlier we prepare, the better.
Myself and you and all the members here will come back and amend the relevant act to make it clear that Nigerians should not be victims of this tax. Nigerians are crying about subsidy removal. Okay. They are crying about daily additional taxes.
The general quagmire on this law was caused by the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation. He's the chief law officer of this country. I think they should have come by the issuance of that memo by the CBN. They should have come and give the Nigerian public the clear interpretation, the clear position of that law. But they kept quiet.
The House then adopted the prayers of the motion, where it called for better enlightenment and a rotation of Nigerians by the relevant government agencies on the matter. Further called on the relevant committees of the House to ensure compliance.
Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Wednesday, 15th May 2024, saw the debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to establish an institute of chartered corporate and business affairs management of Nigeria to provide for the control of its membership, promote and foster the practice of corporate and business affairs management in Nigeria, and for related matters. The bill was sponsored by the majority leader, Professor Julius Ihonvere.
They simply are asking for the House to provide the required legitimacy. It draws its membership across the country, including some members of the House and the Senate, past and 7. And it's essentially in the world of high-tech and complex and difficult business and managerial issues to give people specialized training to promote efficiency, productivity, and service delivery, both in the public and private sectors.
The bill scaled voting without a debate and was referred to the House Standing Committee on Commerce. The lawmakers also debated a bill for an act to amend the National Health Insurance Authority Act 2021 to establish the National Social Register, NSR, as the primary identification tool for the disbursement of the vulnerable group funds and for related matters. It was sponsored by Representative Adedayo Samuel Adeshola.
The bill primarily seeks to amend the National Health Insurance Authority Act 2022 by inserting in Section 28, subsection 3, and renumbered accordingly as set out below. 28.3. The National Social Register, NSR, shall be the primary identification tool for the disbursement of the Vulnerable Group Fund. Mr. Speaker, my honorable members, recall that the National Social Register is a repository of information about potential beneficiaries for multiple social assistance programs that share a common population of interest, but not necessarily same eligibility approach. The National Social Register basically captures the poor and vulnerable household, PVHHS for short, in the country, and those are the groups which the National Health Insurance Authority Act 2022 was meant to protect.
The bill received a yes vote without a debate and was referred to the House Committee on Healthcare Services.
I hope the last half hour has been rewarding for you as we have taken the time to enlighten you about lawmakers' activities in the last week, as well as reviewing past efforts in the pursuit of good governance through legislation. Let us do this again next time. Thanks for watching, and remember that you can follow House Tickets on our social media handles showing on your screen. Until then, bye-bye.